In a time of war and despair, the people of Israel faced a seemingly invincible enemy. Between them and their freedom stood a towering warrior, a giant named Goliath. For 40 days, his voice roared through the valley, defying the Israelite soldiers and the God they worshipped. The camera shows Goliath, over 3 meters tall, covered in shining armor, with a spear that looks like a tree trunk. The Israelite soldiers retreat, fearful, while King Saul watches from his tent, helpless and worried. Goliath, screaming, "Where is your champion? Is there not a man in Israel who dares to confront me? If any of you defeat me, we will be his slaves. But if I defeat him, you will be our slaves." The Israelites murmur in fear, and the camera focuses on a young shepherd arriving at the camp, carrying provisions for his older brothers. This young man is David. David, a young man with bright eyes and quiet confidence, listens to Goliath's challenge as he hands the bread and cheese to his brothers. His curiosity turns to indignation as he hears the giant's blasphemies. David, in disbelief, "Why do you allow this uncircumcised Philistine to insult the army of the living God? Does no one dare to confront him?" His brothers mock him, accusing him of arrogance, but David is not intimidated. His words reach the ears of King Saul, who calls him to his tent. Saul, with concern, "Boy, how can you face this giant? You are just a shepherd, and he has been a warrior since his youth." David, firmly, "When I was tending my father's sheep, I faced lions and bears. God protected me then, and he will protect me now. This giant is just another enemy of God. I will go fight." Saul, impressed by David's faith, offers him his armor, but David rejects it. With his sling in his hand and 5 smooth stones taken from the stream, he prepares to face the giant. The camera follows David as he walks toward the valley. The Philistines laugh at the sight, a young man without armor or sword, facing the most feared warrior of his time. Goliath steps forward, his laughter echoing in the air. Goliath, contemptuously, "Am I a dog that you should come against me with a stick? Today, I will give your flesh to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field." David, small in comparison, does not flinch. His gaze is fixed, his faith unwavering. He raises his voice bravely, echoing over the murmurs of the battlefield. "Dave, you come against me with sword, spear, and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. Today, he will deliver you into my hands." The tension rises. The soldiers on both sides hold their breath as David places a stone in his sling and begins to spin it with deadly precision. The camera follows the stone from David's sling. It moves at full speed, hitting Goliath directly in the forehead. The giant staggers, his eyes glaze over, and finally, he falls to the ground with an earth-shaking crash. With a simple stone and unwavering faith, David did what no one dared to attempt. The giant had fallen, not by the strength of a warrior, but by the power of God. David runs towards Goliath, grabs his sword and raises it high, ensuring victory. The stunned Philistines flee the battlefield while the Israelites celebrate with shouts of joy. The camera shows David returning to the camp, with the Israelite soldiers cheering him on. Saul watches from afar, amazed by the young shepherd. The scene closes with David, standing on a hill, looking up at the sky. The Battle of David and Goliath was not just a physical confrontation, it was a demonstration that true strength comes not from the sword or the spear, but from faith. David taught us that it does not matter how small you are or how big you are. The challenge you face. With faith in God, any giant can fall. Now I ask you, what giants do you face in your life? They may not be like Goliath, but they can be just as intimidating. Remember that, with faith, even the most impossible battle can be won. Like David, trust in the God of hosts and face your fears. Because no matter how big the giant is, with faith, you can always overcome. Comment what you thought and please don't forget to subscribe. Blessings, may God always be with each of us.